raising my hands, both of my hands are in the air, if you could see me, and say, I have been guilty of this, of saying, I'm stuck. In fact, I've even talked about what it is to be stuck. But I had this epiphany moment, this revelation moment that I want to share with you today. And it is about changing our identity from being stuck to being in a sacred moment, a holy moment. So let's talk about what it looks like when we get to choose what we're after. Stuck is not your identity. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Donna Woolham, and I am your host here on the Reinvent Your World podcast. And we are deep into the subject of what it looks like to start again. And I've been there when it feels like you're completely out of options. You're looking at life and none of the pieces fit, none of them match, and you are in this place of trying to find an answer to help you feel like life is not going to continue to fall apart. You're not out of time. You are standing at this moment at a sacred space. And I want to remind you today, just like I've had to remind myself so many times, you get to choose again. Joshua 24:15 is probably one of the most powerful scriptures that we have about choosing. And this is where Joshua is speaking to the children of Israel. They're about to go into the promised land. And Joshua says, choose this day whom you will serve. Choose this day. It's an invitation. Choosing is an invitation. It is a call to us. It is a declaration. When you're looking at life that feels like you have no control, you are saying, I get to choose today. I am not powerless. I learned a long time ago that when we say nothing at all, when we make no decision at all, we are choosing against ourselves. We are choosing against the situation we are in. We are making a choice, whether we are saying we're making a choice or not. Saying no is still a choice. Saying I don't know is still a choice, because what we're saying in that moment is I am going to allow things to stay exactly the way they are. And most of us don't want that. We want something different. And I've shared with you before how I would, in the days after Richard died, I would find myself shuffling my feet, barely picking them up off the ground. And I would say, pick up your feet, Donna. Pick up your feet, Donna. Walk, walk, walk. And once I moved kind of past that, I would stand in the middle of my kitchen and say, Donna, live. And today I want to encourage you to look at the place where you're not picking up your feet, where you're not living, and speak life to yourself. Choose today that you will serve life. There have been so many times whenever I thought that I had to have all the answers, and then I would hear the voice of the Lord say, you don't have to have it all figured out. And there was a lot of peace and hope and help in the middle of that statement. I don't have to have it figured out. I can lean into the power and the presence of the Lord. I can lean into the things that I've learned in the past. I can lean into the things that I'm learning now, and I can choose to rise up and live again. And I can tell you, I did not jump in, both feet first, hands waving in the air, laughing and giggling. No, it was trembling, and it was halting, and it was some days 2 steps forward, and some days it was stay in the bed. But I took one step at a time. I chose to write again. I chose to coach again. I chose to put myself out in front to offer my speaking and teaching and training services again. I chose to believe that even though life was not the way I had planned it, not the way that I had hoped it would be, there was still more for me. And then I just started moving. One choice can become a chain reaction to restore your purpose. That's why I say to reclaim your hope and reignite your dreams and reinvent your world. Our brain is always changing. If you've listened to me more than twice, you know I love how the brain works. How God created us is incredible. And how the brain, this organ in our head, works. And we have the mind where our thinking is, where our emotions live, where our perception of life is. And our brain is always changing. And when we make a new choice, we begin to shift our life into a different direction. I used to think and say all the time, I'm just not creative. I'm not creative. I'm not creative. My sister is able to build and make and draw and paint and craft and collage. And she just does incredible what I in my heart have always considered creative works. And I really believe the Holy Spirit just took me up short one day and said, Donna, do not say that again. You are creative in different ways. You are made in my image and I am the creator. You are also creative. And so I gave myself permission to think differently about the ways that I create. And in that pursuit of learning what creativity is, I learned this little brain trick from some of the studies. I can't remember where I read it, but that if you want to wake up your brain and let it know that new things are coming, to do something small differently than you always do. And the example was, of all things, when you're taking your shower, do something different. I bet when you get in the shower, you always wash the same arm all the time first, or the same leg, or maybe you wash your face first. Whatever you do that every single time. You don't even think about it because that is the pathway that has been built. But if you will dare to put soap in the other hand and wash the other shoulder, it wakes up your brain and says, wait, something new is happening here. Something's changing. And it begins to pay attention. Listen, courage and change and choice don't require that you are 100% certain about what you're going to do next. It just requires that you make a step. Just movement. Doing one simple thing helps you to open up the door and open up the possibilities and open up the understanding that something new is happening. So what would it be like if you truly believed that you were just one sacred choice away from creating momentum in your life? What if the door that you've been praying would open up for you is already open and all you have to do is move through it? You don't have to keep walking in circles, lovely one. You don't have to keep thinking that you don't know what you're going to do next. You know deep inside one step you can make, and I encourage you, take the Lord's hand and make that step, make that choice, because the next chapter of your life is waiting. But you get to choose right now, in this moment, if you will take the step and move forward. This may be your moment to say yes to purpose and to healing and to hope. Maybe you're just trying to figure out, well, I know that there's a step for me to take, Donna, but I don't know what that is. And so I want to invite you to come and have a clarity call with me. And we will have time together and really think about what is the next step for you. What is the next place where you could make a choice to help you move forward in the life that you want, to help you come up out of the disappointment, the grief, the feeling of being stuck and unable to move. And here's my hand right out here reaching for you to help you stand up. So come and let's have a conversation. I want you to know that there is purpose and healing and hope in front of you. Maybe the Lord is saying to you today, choose life, choose purpose, and choose to live and believe again. Just like He did me, standing in my kitchen. I pray that you would have the courage to say, yes, Lord, I'm ready to start again.